Thursday night, we have a critical AFC West matchup. The Los Angeles Chargers are hosting the Denver Broncos. Jay, the Chargers are struggling right now. How can they get back on track?
Well, they got to figure out how to run the ball a little bit better. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins' loss was a huge hit for them because the last 4 games, they're 1-3. They're averaging about 3.5 yards a carry. They can't rush over 100 yards, and that's a staple for Jim Harbaugh's offense. If I would have told you that before the season, Jim Harbaugh, in 4 games, can't rush for over 100 yards and average about 3 yards a carry, you'd say there's no way. Well, there's a way because that's what's happening right now. And we're forced to throw it. Justin Herbert is capable as hell to be a quarterback in the National Football League. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the league, but he doesn't have the weapons. Ladd McConkey is a good player, but the other guys got to figure out a way to stop up. Palmer, Quentin Johnson, DJ Chark, these guys got to play better. And they got to get open for Justin because if Justin sees an open guy, he can rip it. But these guys aren't getting open, and they're not running the football. So offensively, they are really having trouble finding out what they are, who they are, and what they are successful at. And then defensively, they're just putting too much pressure on their defense. Defense gave up some gashes last week, and they played really good early. They played good red zone defense. They played really good statistically early this season, but now they're starting to leak a little bit of oil because they're on the field a lot.
AQ, when you lose a guy like J.K. Dobbins and the run game starts to struggle, what do you tell your team at that point? Where do you turn to on offense?
Listen, it's just like if you're a three-point shooter and you start missing, you just got to stay with it, right, at the end of the day. But they've been playing some good defenses. Let's also not forget about that. They've had the Chiefs and they've had the Buccaneers. I mean, if you're playing a Todd Bowles defense and you're playing Spags and you know that Jim Harbaugh likes to run the ball, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to stop the run. That's keys to victory Wednesday of both those defensive coordinators. First thing being said, they just got to stick with it. Their offensive line is good. They've obviously improved that this year. You just have to stick with it and keep hammering it. Now, Justin Herbert can run a little bit. Let's mix a little zone read into this thing, right? Greg Roman has done that. He's been there before when he's been there in Buffalo, and he's been there with Tyrod Taylor when he did that in Buffalo, and he also did it, obviously, with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. So I think you can also mix some of that in there. You don't have the playmakers on the outside throwing the ball. Let's mix a little bit of that in there and then get back to doing some other stuff.
Yeah, Justin Herbert's been a little banged up. They got to get him healthy, get him running the ball. The team has been banged up. Ladd McConkey, this is his first game back. But let's take it to the other side, Colt. This young quarterback, Bo Nix, we haven't talked enough about him on this show. He is having a great rookie year. He's definitely in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year. What is Bo Nix doing on film that you like?
Hey, listen, the kid's all right. I like Bo Nix. I mean, he's played good football. I know he's turned the ball over 5 times in the last 2 games, and they've won both games. So to me, that's a product of a well-coached football team, a team that's playing, at a pretty high level, finding ways to win. He struggled against the Colts, but found a way to put some drives together and punch it in the end zone towards the end of the game. So, I mean, you look at what he's done all year. He didn't turn the ball over very much at the beginning, kind of has gone through this little lull. They've won 9 games. He's playing good football. Vance Joseph, one of our favorites on this show, his defense is playing lights out. I mean, they are hard to score against. They'll give you some yards here and there, but they're relentless. They attack you, and their secondary is legit. I think there's also a product of that for a young quarterback. When you have a good defense, just try to limit the turnovers. That's been his biggest flaw over the last several weeks in this little stretch. But at the end of the day, there's really nothing he can't do. I think he could improve a little bit pushing the ball down the field, but they're playing with a lot of receivers that you've never heard of. There's some young guys that are playing. Then he can lean on guys like Cortland Sutton and that run game. I think their key this week is to be able to run the football. I watched the Bucs play the Chargers last week, and anytime Tampa Bay went big personnel, 12, 13, they would get them in base defense. They had their way running the football. And when you're a young quarterback like Bo Nix, you're playing the Chargers in LA, leaning on some of that heavy personnel run game will be big for him. And then you get some advantageous looks on the outside, pushing the ball down the field. I think what he's done this year is what Sean Payton has been able to do with him as a young guy. I like him. He's playing great.
Well, it's a great segue. Sean Payton has this Denver Broncos team 6-2. They last lost to the Chargers in week 6. Jay, what is Sean Payton getting right? How's he leading this team?
Well, their defense, we mentioned before, Pat Surtain, Zach Allen, Bonito. I mean, he had another pick 6. I mean, these guys are playing great on defense. And offensively, he does a great job at Bo, getting them easy completions. The quick game, bubble screens, quick screens, release screens, halfback screens. They must throw about 9 or 10 of those a game. So before the game starts, Bo Nix is going to have at least 9 for 9 because Sean's going to get them easy completions. Then with the running game, which Colt mentioned, he gets them outside the pocket on the bootlegs. Now, when they need to play, Cortland Courtland Sutton's one of the better receivers in the league the last 7 weeks. Last 7 weeks, he's got 45 catches for 600 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's a big play threat in the red zone, big play threat down the field. And Sean is very patient with his play calling. And then when it's time to get one-on-one matchup, like he hit Courtland Sutton on a little double move last week for a touchdown, he'll hit him. And Bo's playing extremely well for the most part. But Sean is doing a great job of protecting the young quarterback.
They're building in like literally 10 to 15 RPOs a game where it's a run. Then he just dips it over the linebacker or gets his little zone pull read. That's things that Drew Brees never did in Sean Payton's offense, but it's what Bo Nix does well. And then his ability to kind of infuse himself into Sean Payton's DNA and what Sean wants to do. I just, there is some hiccups when you're a young guy, but I think overall, like it's hard to win football games in the NFL, but he's doing a nice job, and Sean's doing a nice job calling plays that fit him.
Yeah, the Broncos have been on a tear. Who also has been on a tear has been this channel. We hit our goal of 10,000 subscribers. The next goal, we're not just going to go up a little bit. We're going up a lot. We need 20,000 subscribers. That is the next goal. For all those that are watching right now, smash that subscribe button. Colt, man, you must have subscribed, and that put us over the 10K mark.
Amen.
AQ, the Chargers are coming off a game where they gave up 40 points. They have led the NFL in scoring defense this season. Was that 40-point game an anomaly, or what do the Chargers have to do to get right and not have another game like that?
Yeah, I think it's an anomaly. Listen, when you play the Bucs have done this a couple times this year, right? Like when they played the Saints early in the season, it was the same thing. It was back and forth, tight ball game. This game was a 17-10 ball game, and then they pull away. The Bucs have a very good offense, and when they get it going, they can go. They get the one play, and the one play turns into two, and the two play turns into three, and then guess what happens? You look up, and they got 40 points. It's the same thing when they played the Saints earlier in the year, back and forth, and then all of a sudden they put a 50-piece up, right? So when you look at what the Bucs have done, Liam Cohen has done a fantastic job down in Tampa, so that is the anomaly. This Chargers defense is very good. They stop the run. Their edge guys are phenomenal. They're stout inside, good linebacker play. They're getting great secondary play. They're a very good defense. They're a top 5 defense for a reason. So, listen, you just get back to doing what you're doing. You throw this one. What do we say, Jay? You bury this one. You bury this tape. Maybe don't even look at it. Move on to the next.
Well, they need to look at it because they blew some coverages like mad. They got to cover better. The thing is, when you put that on tape, lo and behold, you think Sean Payton's going to be watching? Yeah,
coming back.
They got to fix it first and then bury it.
That's right.
Some of those coverages that they played on third downs, like third and long with like 3 safeties, what were they doing?
A lot of teams are starting to play this corner cover 2 stuff, and they're having trouble with the run-through player. It's tough. And then when there's high crossers, the corners get lost. I don't know if they should keep running or fall back. Guys are running everywhere. I've never seen zone coverages where people are like just turning with their back trying to match players, and they get lost.
Well, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense when the offense isn't able to put points on the board. And with the lack of weapons that the Chargers had, they went into this season letting Keenan Allen walk, letting Mike Williams walk. What are you seeing from this Chargers offense, and how are they able to make plays without the weapons? Or is that part of the rebuild process here for the Chargers, Colt?
I don't know where you turn. Listen, I think Justin Herbert is elite. He's one of my favorite guys to watch. But where do you want him to throw the football? I think if I was to pick one guy, I would say like Josh Palmer. Find a way to win Jay mentioned it earlier. Like the guys around Ladd McConkey in this offense just have to play better. They got to show up. Quentin Johnson, their run game has kind of been bottled up. AQ mentioned maybe getting Justin Herbert on the move, running some zone read. That's definitely in Giro's background with the quarterbacks that he's played with. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know if they can. They're built to run the football and take some shots. But going against this Broncos defense, like unless another receiver or two step up and Herbert's able to throw for 200 to 250 yards, like I don't know how they win this game.
Want to win money watching football? With Underdog, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash just by picking higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, like whether or not your team's running back will score a touchdown this weekend. Millions of fans have won billions of dollars on Underdog. Will you be next? Sign up now to get a free pick for your first cash entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Download the Underdog app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com to get started today.
Do we first want to talk about our records right now?
Sure. I'd like to talk about our records.
Jay has 16 wins on the season. Jay is 16-7. Colt and I are 13-10, and AQ's 12-11. So we got to make a run, boys. We cannot let Gruden beat us out. Should we let Jay go first?
It's easy. Denver all day long. They'll be able to run the ball, throw the ball a little bit. Bo, protect the ball for God's sakes. No more turnovers. Let Gus Edwards run for a 2-yard gain again. Force him into 3rd and 8. Maybe you guys can hand it to Gus again. Like AQ said, run the ball. Be in 3rd and 9. I don't care, because then we're going to rush the hell out of you and get a sack, force fumble. Denver all day long.
I'm going Denver here too. I they lost their first one to the Chargers. It was a close game. Anytime you're playing in a division like this, you got a pretty good information on these guys. You got to change some things up. But I mean, if Herbert protects the football, I like Denver, and I also like their defense. You watch, they fly around, they're tough. I just don't see the Chargers getting in a situation where they can outscore the Broncos. I'm taking Denver.
AQ?
I'm going to stick with Denver just so I can watch you go devil's advocate. You like to take the opposite of the group usually. So I'm going to go Denver for sure. I like Denver's defense. Benito has been fantastic. Didn't even know who he was before the season started. Now he's having a monster season. Jay mentioned it was a pick six. Jay, don't know if you knew this or not. That was a lateral. It's considered a fumble.
That's a fumble recovery.
Considered a fumble.
All right, my bad.
Unbelievable defense they have over there. Allen's playing fantastic. They're stout, and Vance brings pressure from everywhere. So I'm going Denver.
Yeah, I wish I could say something about like the LA Chargers have a home field advantage, or it's going to feel like a Denver Broncos game in LA. The fans are going to be out there. It's going to be hectic. I'm trying to find a way to pick Chargers.
I'll help you. I'll help you how they can win. They keep the score under wraps, right? Keep it a low scoring game, win the game at the end, 13-10. I think that can foreseeably happen. I don't think it will, but I think for the LA Chargers to win this game, that's the way it's got to be. They got to play great defense, force a lot of field goals, figure out a way to get in the end zone, and Herbert's good enough to do that. Kick some field goals, then win at the end.
Are you switching your pick, Jay? Because I'm not going to just have you make.
I'm just trying to help you. I'm helping you make a pick.
That's a good point, because listen, I'm pretty sure they won the game last week with under 200 yards of offense. They're not world beaters on offense. Bo's having a good season. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, Bo threw for 120 yards, for God's sakes. I mean, you guys are crowning him Rookie of the Year over Jaden Daniels, but must be out of your mind, Colt.
No. I don't think Colt said he was Rookie of the Year.
And their running game is not that great either. I'm not very sold on Denver. If you want me to flip my pick, fellas, I'll take the Chargers. I'll take Harbaugh.
Go ahead, let's go.
Flip your pick.
I'll flip it. Let's go, Chargers. I'll take the Chargers. I'm sure I'm getting a lot of point or, lower or something.
No, you're not getting any points, man. This is straight up. I'm going Denver Broncos here. The defense is playing great. Chargers are banged up. Yeah, you take Ladd McConkey out. Who do you go to again? You just sold yourself out of this one.
Might be injured.
Hey, I'm glad we were able to manipulate him.
Who's going to cover McConkey?
I'm going Broncos. We got Broncos, and then Gruden decided to flip. He's got the Chargers.
I'll take the Chargers. Let's go, Harbaugh. Who's got it better than us? Nobody.